world. Wow, it has been quite a while, hasn't it? Sorry about that. We didn't know if we were gonna quit YouTube, what we were gonna do, but we have decided that we are back. And we are going to keep giving you guys bird content and some really new cool things as well. Now, you may be wondering why I am saying we. The reason is because my partner Nash will be joining in this channel as well. Conveniently, they are out of the house just now, but I will be dragging them into it as well, and you will be seeing a whole lot more of them, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, I'm not going to be boring. I'm not going to stand and chat about where we have been, what we have been doing, yada yada yada. Instead, I thought, why not kick things back off with introducing you guys back to our flock, specifically the littles as we call them, or the cockatiels. If you guys have seen the last video I made a good few years ago now of the cockatiels, you'll remember we had 3. That video was taken quite a while ago and the numbers have doubled to 6, which means we have double the chaos, double the mess and double the fun. So I thought in this video I would quickly run through all of the littles for you guys, and I'll do another video introducing you to our girls again, the girls being the macaws. It's just what we call them, the littles and the girls. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start us off, we have Paco, the heart of the team, the best bird you could ever meet. Paco does not have a bad bone in his body unless it is hormonal season, then you might get bitten, but all birds go a little bit crazy during hormonal season, so we don't hold that against him. Paco is this sweet little bird who everybody adores. Even if you are terrified of birds, he will win you over. He is the best bird to introduce kids to birds with, to introduce people that are terrified of birds to. He's all around just incredible. For those of you who remember, we actually got Paco from a breeder. Now he is the only bird in this house who has come from a breeder. All of our other guys are rehomes or rescues. Paco does have a few little issues. He's got a suspected brain tumour and a liver tumour. He's got something up with his spine as well now. His brain tumour causes him to go blind in his right eye randomly. Yes, randomly. We do have proof of this with footage.
See.
Our vet cannot believe that this is happening. It means that the swelling in his brain goes down randomly, and sometimes he's got more vision than other times. Now for the icing on the cake, he has also developed cataracts in his left eye. So he is a poor little soul, but if you saw him, you wouldn't even know.
Good morning! Good morning!
Honestly, he gets around just fine. We are not going to clip his wings unless we ultimately have to. But right now, we've just tried to keep his life as simple as possible. He's still foraging despite being mainly blind. He is loving life. He couldn't care less. He flies really, really carefully. He's still recalled, so he does have some vision, just not a lot. So that's basically Paco. He is now 6 years old. The vets didn't think he would make it past 2 or 3, so we are rolling with it. Nobody knows how he is still going. He is the literal miracle bird. When he goes to the vets always tell everybody that nobody knows how he is still alive, and we love him for it. Moving on from Paco, we have Denali. Now, Denali is our incredible watchbird, as we all call him. He's sort of like the grumpy grandpa of the group. He'll be around 8 or 9 now. He's a really, really good boy. He came to us as a rehome from somebody who really, really loved him, just couldn't care for him anymore. Now, he does free fly. We haven't been out as much as we had wanted to this year, just because weather hasn't been great.
Bye-bye! Did he go to the floor?
No, he's there.
Oh, there he is. Hi, bud! Bye, bud!
Denali's recently bonded to one of our other cockatiels, and he gets himself too much in a panic if they are not together. So we're just a little bit cautious of what we are doing with him while we get him back on track. But Denali is fantastic. He knows a lot of tricks. He is very, very tame, although he will not accept cuddles. And he is living proof that aviary birds can be trained to free fly because he was raised in an aviary. He did not meet a human until he was adopted by one. So he is literally living proof that you can take on an aviary bird and free fly them. Doesn't mean it is easy, but you can do it. Moving on from Denali, we have Arlo. Now, Arlo, we don't know Arlo's age. We never will. Arlo was found outside a few years ago. We did try to find his owner really hard. We searched for quite a few months actually. We posted him everywhere. We were in contact with a lot of people. We contacted rescues, we contacted vets, and no owner came forward. In that moment, we didn't know if we were going to keep him because in reality we lost our little Roa, which some of you guys will remember from our last video, and he looked so much like Roa, he reminded us so much of Roa, that we just didn't know if we would keep him. However, in that moment, he actually helped the entire flock feel better. He brought a lot of joy to our lives in a time where there wasn't a lot of happiness at all. So, needless to say, he stayed. He actually is the bird that has bonded with Denali, and he has started his free flight journey just a few months ago. He is doing fantastic. We absolutely adore him.
Let's see how strong the recall cue is. Arlo! Good boy.
He's a funky little man with a spicy little attitude and is not afraid to tell you off if he is not happy with you. But regardless, we absolutely adore him. His chaotic personality has brought us so much joy and a little bit of a challenge as well, which we really don't mind. Now, like I said, we don't know his age. We will never be able to know his age exactly. We knew he was younger, probably about 1.5 years when we found him, so that'll make him about 3 or 4 now. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Arlo is where actually he got his name. He was found between 2 Scottish hills, and Arlo quite literally means between 2 hills, so that's why we've called him that. Now, moving on to Alby. Alby is a little bit special. He wasn't meant to stay with us. He was an accidental failed foster. Basically, Alby has come to us as an emergency a few years ago, where the person who adopted him had gotten him a little bit too young. Now, that is not their fault, no hate to them whatsoever, but essentially he was too young. He should have still been getting formula or being fed by his parents. Not completely, he could eat by himself, but not fully, and he was losing weight. So we had to force feed him to begin with. He was not a fan of us, needless to say. I mean, I wouldn't like you either if you were cramming a syringe down my throat and getting food into me. You know, he was scared. He didn't know any better. He had just been ripped away from his flock to a home. He used to live in an aviary, so he was ripped away from his flock to a house where he had never been, to then be moved to a different house, to then be kept around other birds who wanted to know what was happening. Obviously, we didn't let them all get together to begin with. Now, Alby will be 2 or 3 now. He is doing really well. He's kept a lot of his aviary side of him. He still doesn't like hands all too much. He doesn't like cuddles, but he's really happy to play a game of peekaboo with you. He's really happy to be involved with you and be around you. Peekaboo! He's just not happy to be picked up. Moving on from Alby, we have the sisters, as we call them, Kiva and Fia. Now, these guys were an interesting case. One of our very first free flight students reached out. They had some problems that I'm not going to discuss because it is not my place, but essentially the birds had to go. There was no other choice. Now, this family really cared about these birds. It wasn't just a mindless decision. There were just things that happened that couldn't be avoided. We agreed to take them in on a trial basis and then help them find a new home. Needless to say, they stayed. No more fosters for us. We're really bad at this kind of thing. So yeah, here we have Kiva and Fia. They were both in training for free flight. Now, I'm going to start off with one by one because otherwise you guys will get confused by who is who. Sometimes we do as well because they look very similar. So if we start off with Kiva. Kiva is adorable. She was hand-reared. She's got a very similar personality to Paco. She's very sweet, just wants attention, wants to be near you all the time, absolutely adores humans, doesn't necessarily know how to be a bird, so we have been really working on that. She does know now, but she didn't initially. Not our family's fault, it's just what happens when birds are hand-reared. The flock has helped her realise, actually, I'm a bird, there are so many cool things I can do. I do not need to just sit and scream for my humans to come. I can entertain myself, I have toys, I can find food, things are great. Now, Kiva is a free flyer. She didn't get to start her free flight journey with her past home, but they were training her for it, and we picked up that training and started free flying her pretty quickly.
Stop walking after me. Kiva, come on. Kiva, come on. There's a hole there, you're gonna fall into it, you're gonna fall in. Pay attention where you're walking. Kiva, and you fell in. Come on. Kiva.
The fact that we were able to get her out so fast just shows you how well her last home trained her. She's been incredible, absolutely fantastic. She's a brilliant little bird who honestly reminds me so much of Paco, is just female and healthy. So hopefully she will stay that way. Then moving on from Kiva onto our last and final cockatiel, we have Fia. Fia came to us with Kiva, as you guys already heard. Fia is a bit more timid. She was aviary raised, so a little bit different. She does like the odd scratch, but she's more of a keep to myself bird. She's a lot more like Alby in that sense. Her family did try to bring her out of her shelf, get her confident with people, get her to love being cuddled and things like that. But when we introduced her to the flock, we realised quickly that actually she thrives a lot better with birds like her. And we don't, although we do handle her, we do check her, we do work with her, she definitely prefers just being around other birds than being with us. And you know what? That's perfectly fine with us. Now, Fia was obviously in free flight training as well. We did carry it on, but we are not at the stage of free flight with her just yet. She is still a little bit too skittish. She's not responding as quickly as I like her to respond. But overall, she is an incredible little bird, same as all of them are, to be honest. One thing I forgot to mention is actually Kiva and Fia's age. Now, Kiva will be around 4, whereas Fia will be around 3. And that is you pretty much caught up with the cockatiel flock. So I'm going to end this video here. And I hope you are all enjoying the welcome back video on YouTube. I will see you guys at the next one. Bye!